Okay, so welcome back. Hopefully you're joining me from the previous video. There is a link to the previous video on this video. So in the last video, I basically showed you guys how to add a simple context, React context to a simple React app. So what you see here is a static name, static age, and static work. And the information you see here is data that is passed in by React context, not by props. So I showed how to do that. This was the code that we generated from the last video. The link again is in this video. Just check the descriptions. All right, so I'm gonna continue from there. What I want to do in this video is I want to show you how to use reducer. Use reducer, how to, as opposed to using useState. Some people would want to use useReducer because as the number of state variables increases, it becomes unscalable and it looks messy. So instead, you use useReducer. And I use useReducer a lot as well. So let's use that. Okay, awesome. So the first thing is you want to create your reducer. Let's create the reducer. Let's call it state reducer. Const state reducer. Reducer takes two things, type and action. I'm gonna destruct the action. I mean state, sorry, and action. I'm gonna destruct the action to type and payload. There we go. And then use a switch statement that will check the type. And then this will return the current state. The default is the current state. All right, so let's see how this is gonna work. So we're gonna use useReduce. Let's delete all of this. So we'll say const state dispatch useReducer. We have to pass in the reducer we just made, and we're gonna pass in our default data. So state and dispatch are just regular names used. That's all. So I'm gonna add another thing here. Let's call it bio. This is a default bio. We're gonna change that, don't worry. We're gonna create an action creator for that. So now to use state and dispatch, instead of info, now we're gonna pass in state. To use dispatch now, we're gonna create an action. We're gonna call it, let's call action. What type of action? We're gonna call it set bio. So const set bio takes in a string, and what does it do? It returns the dispatch function. What set the type? The type can be set bio, and then the payload would be the parameter it returns. All right, this is nice. All right, so now we can pass in addition to the state, we pass in set bio. So we're not done. Now over here, we have to check for the case of when type reaches set bio. And then what we do is we destruct the state, and then we overwrite the bio as the payload. There we go. And that's it. We have connected reducer state. Here's our reducer, and here's our action, and we have connected that using useReducer. So then we have to use it. It's not gonna work. Look, we broke the app. It's not gonna work. So now we have to use it in app.js. So let's get rid of all of this first. So let's bring in info. Now, what does info has? Let's console.log that info. Let's see what does info has. It says set bio is not defined. Where is that? Oh, it's not a string. Let's go. Nice. What was expected an assignment or function call in data? Okay, let me just make sure I have everything right. Bio is the payload, state, default, resource. Return state, everything is good. There we go. It's just a return statement. Oh, okay. Live debugging. So let's see what the console is. Object. There we go. So the info has set bio and state. So what I want to do is I want to info has set bio and state. Okay. So we're gonna use use effect of in app. Use effect is like, for those of you who who came from the old days where you use classes as opposed to using React hooks, use effect is like component will mount and component did mount put together, honestly. So it is rendered right before, I mean it is called before the rendered state, basically. So we're going to use use effect, and then in use effect we are going to info. We have info. So what does info has access to? Info has access to set bio. Okay, so we can destruct all of this actually. Set bio and state. So you know what, we can say info dot set bio, and we can pass anything we want, anything as the string. Hi, my name is Kunle Ritsune, and I am an engineer. All right, awesome. So now what we want to do is it's being called like millions of times. So to do that, let's pass a dependency. Empty array is fine. There we go. Done. So it's not repeating all the time. Okay, so now the next thing that we want to do is we want to actually use this. So in order to do that, remember we have access to the state, the bio. This is the default bio. So we can destruct this and say const bio from info.state. We can destruct all of them, the name, the age, occupation, but all we want is the bio. Now we have the bio, and we can pass the bio here. And say bio. Remove that. Okay. Oh, I didn't save it. There we go. Hi, my name is Kunle. Alright, so basically what did we just do? We can change this. I am a software engineer. Let's be specific, I guess, just to show you how it works. I am a software engineer. Right away. So what's going on here is that we have, in the last video we made a context. In this video I showed you how to make how to use UseReducer as opposed to useState, where we created a reducer, we created an action, set bio, and then we dispatched the action into the reducer, and our components were able to have access to it. So use effect was called to update the bio, and we saw a live update right away. Thank you guys.